Alright guys, here's my second under the hood. This one is of my Maxstone SCX10 rock crawler. Like I said, it started out as a Exceed RC Maxstone 10, and I have upgraded it with SCX10 parts, mainly the axles from it. I've gotten a new body. I wound up completely destroying the old body. The posts wound up ripping through and messing up pretty good. It's actually the exact same shape, and it's actually from Exceed, so this one was just cleared. I was able to paint this one how I wanted. I have put aluminum body posts on it, and that helped to make it so that it didn't destroy the body quite so bad, but it also strengthened it up so the body wouldn't flex and move and all that. Yes, you are seeing axial ripsaw tires. These actually came off of a Wraith, the Wraith that is actually Little Digger now. Originally these tires came on it, and they weren't glued, they were just on there with bead locks, and I took them off, and because they're such soft compound, I wound up putting them on here, and so they actually do really good on here. I absolutely love them. These are the stock rims with the stock bead locks that the Maxstone 10 came with originally. They've done okay. They're a little bit wider than what a normal rock crawler rim would be, but since I don't do it, since I don't live for it, it's fine with me. It works. As you can see, well, yeah, let's start at the top and we'll work our way down. So taking the body off, just simple black paint job. It was all done freehand. I didn't mask anything or anything. It's been beat to snot. I've had to trim it a lot and that, but it still works. So under the hood, I have upgraded to a LiPo. The Maxstone 10 is originally ready to run. Everything in it was waterproof. Servo, receiver, ESC was all waterproof on it. And since then, I've kind of changed that. I've upgraded to higher torque servos, front and rear. So yes, I do have four-wheel steering on this. There we go. I do have four-wheel steering on this. I've upgraded with a Futaba R304SB receiver. It's actually a 4-channel receiver, but I'm only actually using 3 channels. Throttle, front steering, rear steering, and that's it. I've put a Castle Sidewinder 3 ESC in here. Just a normal 3S capable ESC. I've only ever ran this with 2S. I don't know for sure how it would do with 3S. It's a rock crawler. It's not meant to go fast. With 5,000 mAh battery, I wound up having close to 2 hours of runtime with this thing. So I've had no complaints, no issues whatsoever with it. The shocks that you're seeing, they are full body aluminum shocks. They were actually ordered from, I think it was China, I don't remember, don't quote me on that. They were ordered from overseas. They actually got here surprisingly fast, and they have been absolutely beautiful. I put 10 weight fluid in it, so they're really soft, and they are really smooth as well. Yes, you are seeing that the rear shocks are mounted differently than the front shocks, and that is in part to help with some of the flex and the torque twist that this has from the RC4WD 45 turn motor that is in it. And I'm running, I like to think, pretty much a torqued gearing setup in it, so it has more torque than speed, which I think is what you need for rock crawling. Anyways, softest springs that I could find for it, so it sits like that, but it can still lift a little bit more. But little trick that you can do here, if you see my antenna wire, if you use a lighter to heat the antenna just a little bit, not a whole lot, you can put a smooth bend in it like this, and your wire is able to then go through it, so then it's still up and above your ESC and receiver and battery and wiring and stuff on your rig, but it's up a little bit higher than that, but you can still do it under the body, so you can still get a little bit better scale look on it. That's just my little tidbit that I did with it. My choice. Anyways, moving on. Go to the front. here. Just running cheap servos on it. I got these at Tower Hobbies. They were, I want to say that maybe 10 bucks a servo or so, but they're, I want to say like 140 to 150 ounce per inch, which for this being a smaller rig, they worked fine. I've had no issues whatsoever with them. Has aluminum hub carriers in here. I'm not sure on the brand. I don't know if they're HR or somebody else, but they are aluminum, and it actually helped to raise the link rod up higher, so I have a little bit steeper angle of attack for coming up on rocks and stuff. Again, I don't know the brand, but if you can see it right there, it's a little almost like checkered flag that's on fire looking links, metal links on both the front and on the rear, all metal links. I eventually, once the rod ends wear out, I will replace these with plastic ones with metal ball cups. You can actually see they're already starting to get a little loose just from normal wear and tear. That's why I like the plastic ones. That's my preference. If you don't like it, run what you like. One of the things, like I mentioned in my last video of Under the Hood from Digger, I try to incorporate a weak point. Well, I have just a normal plastic solid servo horn on here. Not servo saver, but just a solid plastic servo horn, so it still gives me the precision for doing the four-wheel steering and to give me good steering. And if I do need to have something give, that can break and it's no big deal. I can replace that. I can get them for cheap anyways. So let's see, I mentioned SCX10 Axles, front and rear. They were actually pretty well a direct bolt-on onto here. This portion in here where the shocks and lower links mount in, that was a direct bolt in. Getting the servo to mount up correctly down in here was a little bit tricky. You have to kind of bend it and get it to flex a little bit to get it to go just right into there. But once it did, you just leave it in there and it does fine. Doesn't have any binding or any other issues like that. Aluminum servo mounts, so the servos are mounted on very rigid, so I don't have to worry about them flexing at all. I actually wound up breaking one of the shafts. These are kind of like the WB8 axle wraith shafts, I believe, where this portion is plastic and then the U-joint is metal. And I wound up destroying this end where it meets the plastic meets the metal, and I didn't have any specific shafts for this rig, so I wound up putting this one here on the back. I don't know what brand this one is. If somebody does, please leave me a comment in the comments down below. You know what I'm trying to say. This is YouTube. Everybody knows what they're trying to say. Anyways, so that one has the metal shaft, and then the plastic one up front, again, that incorporates a kind of a weak point in it, so if something's going to break, it'll hopefully be there. I do still run the plastic spur gear on here, again, as a weak point. This motor's putting out a good amount of torque, and so I'd rather mess something up like a cheap spur gear than gears that are inside here or something worse, inside the C-hubs, the axles, or any of that. Let's see. It is the stock Maxstone 10 twin plate vertical chassis, or twin vertical plate chassis. They are both aluminum. All the green, other than the shocks, is factory. It came like that from the factory. When I got it, it was through Amazon, and it was about 150 bucks for it. So for just being an entry-level rock crawler, it has done really well. I talked to a guy online that told me that the SCX10 axles are basically direct bolt in, and so I went to that just so they're more universal and I have more upgrades and features that I can put into it. Let's see. On the rear, I need to put in the bent links down here like what the front has, because of the four-wheel steering. It limits me a little bit and I can start to rub some. Haven't had a chance to be able to do that, but I will eventually. So anyways, overall I think that's pretty well most of the whole thing.